Welcome Nuview first graders to Eureka Math, Module 5, Lesson 11. Today's learning goal for Lesson 11 is telling time to the half hour. To start, we're going to talk about the movement of an analog clock. If you take a look at the clock here on the screen, you'll notice that the hands are moving toward the right. On an analog clock, the hands on a clock always move toward the right side. We call that moving clockwise. Now on this clock, the hands are moving very fast. On a regular clock, they don't usually move that quickly. This is just for a demonstration. The clock face has been split in half to show you why we call it the half hour. The minute hand starts at the 00 at the top where you see the red dot. It slowly moves around the clock during the day as the time changes. And when it moves halfway around the clock and it reaches the 6 at the bottom, just like with the old clock at the top, on the other side of the 6 is the minutes for the 6, and it's 30. When it gets to the 30 at the bottom, we can say that it is half past the hour. Now let's look at a clock with both the hour hand and the minute hand. The long minute hand is now pointing down at the 6, but remember that the long hand is trying to reach out and touch the 30 on the other side of the 6. The short hour hand is now pointing in between, in the middle of the 3 and the 4. It hasn't gotten to the 4 yet, so it's still 3 for the hour. Now the whole area between the 3 and the 4, I'll use my highlighter to show you. This whole entire area from the 3 all the way to the 4, this all belongs to the 3 hour. It doesn't change, the hour doesn't change to 4 until it gets to this black line right here. Then it becomes 4. So on this clock that you see, the time would be read as 3:30 or half past 3. Now let's take a look at a digital clock. Like I mentioned in the last video, telling time to the hour, telling time on a digital clock can be much easier because you're able to see the numbers very clearly and you don't have to try to read the clock's hands. The hour comes first and it's pointing to the 7 and it's separated from the minutes by these 2 dots. And the minutes on this clock are pointing to the 30s. So the time on this clock is 7:30, or we can also say that is half past 7. Let's try to read some clocks together. First, look at the short hour hand. What number is it pointing to? Yes, it's pointing between the 5 and the 6. It hasn't gotten to the 6 yet, so the hour is still 5. What number is the long minute hand pointing to? Yes, the 6. That means it's pointing to the 30 that's on the other side of it, the half hour. So the time is 5:30 or half past 5. Next clock. First, look at the short hour hand. What number is it pointing to? Yes, it's pointing between the 11 and the 12. Has it gotten to the 12 yet? No, so the hour is still 11. What number is the long minute hand pointing to? Yes, it's pointing to the 6. That means it's trying to point to the 30 that's on the other side of the 6. So the time on this clock is 11:30 or half past 11. Next one. Remember, first look at the short hour hand. What number is it pointing to? Yes, again, it's pointing between the 6 and the 7. It hasn't gotten to the 7 yet. So the hour is still 6. What number is the long minute hand pointing to? Yes, it's pointing to the 6. But remember, the long minute hand is reaching out so that it can point to and touch the minutes on the other side of it. So it's really pointing to the half hour, the 30 that's under the 6. So the hour hand is between the 6 and the 7. It's still 6. And the minute hand is pointing to the 30. So the time is 6:30 or 6:30. Okay, last clock. First look at the short hour hand. What number is it pointing to? Yes, it's pointing between the 12 and the 1. That means it is still 12. Look at the long minute hand. What number is it pointing to? That's correct. It's pointing to the 6. But remember, the long minute hand is really trying to reach past the 6 to point to the 30 on the other side. So the hour is between the 12 and the 1, but it isn't to the 1 yet, so it's still 12. And the minute is pointing to 30. So the time on this clock shows 12:30 or 12:30. All right, boys and girls from Nuview, that is it for our telling time to the half hour. I hope you found this video very helpful. Telling time to the half hour can be a little bit more complicated than telling time to the hour. So if you're still not sure, try watching the video again. See if watching it for a second time is helpful. Also, having an adult have you practice on an analog clock can be really helpful. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to learn to tell time to the half hour. All right, boys and girls, I look forward to seeing you again soon, and goodbye for now.